So, welcome beautiful souls, welcome beautiful hearts to this very first Poetic Science Talk, today with Gavin Andrews, Director of HeartSet UK and Ireland, and as well the founder of Synthropy States, beautiful app for meditation. So what are we doing here in the Poetic Science Talk? We invite guests who help us create a heart-centered world, because we all have to train practice that new world we want to build with. And Gavin provides a lot of beautiful things to do that. So welcome, Gavin. It's my honor and pleasure to have you here. And we're very excited where we're going with that format. So
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was honored to be here, and your very first guest as well. So it's a special honor for me. Thank you.
Yes, I would like to start with the Synthropy States. And what I really like, because I was a bit of hesitating doing breath work, I find it so technical, but you put that in a beautiful art and sound, and then I felt, oh, I got breathed. I don't have to breathe. So it really helps me. I'm also very sensitive. This is a hint for people who are sensitive. When I go into a state where I'm disbalanced, it helps me really to connect in an easy way. So thank you for that. And I would like to know how this idea came up.
Okay, wow. All right. So, so I'm one of the co-founders. Other co-founder is Ali Joy. And we also started out with another co-founder, Mark Soden, who made the music. So, yeah, well, the short version of the story is that during COVID, Ali, who's an artist, and is also a HeartMath coach actually, and has made art using the biofeedback that HeartMath uses. So she's created art installations using people's heart rhythms. She just reached out to me one day and said, "Oh, Gavin, there's not many breath pacers out there that are any good. They're all a bit boring, actually. They're not very exciting, not very artistic." And I said, "Well, it's funny, because I've been thinking about that as well. There just doesn't seem to be anything out there." And then at the same time, Mark contacted me. He's a music producer, has his own record label, and he said, have you ever heard of binaurals? He was just getting into them. I said, well, I've heard of them and I've got some, but I don't really know much about them. But actually, no one's really making a lot of music for breath work, especially coherence breath work. So it's just one of those situations where, the universe, there's just a sort of synchronicity. And these two people contacted me, an artist and a musician. And I said, well, why don't we just try and give this a go? So that's how it basically all began. And Ali produced some art, and Mark produced some music, and so this was the first video that we created under the Synthropy States kind of brand, as it were. And we just thought straight away, well, this is beautiful. It's really different. So it's basically abstract art, psychedelic art, if you like, digitally generative art. And so what we created are these beautiful videos where the art sort of evolves in the breath pacers. They evolve and they change, but they're always constantly pacing the breathing in a coherent breathing pattern. And the music is doing the same. So the music has a coherent rhythm. And we just thought we were onto something here. And then we thought, well, what do we do now? I guess we better try and find a way to get it out into the world. So that's when we decided to create an app. That's when things became quite complex, obviously, but we created an app. And where we're at now, we've got 80 plus videos in the app. We ended up also collaborating with other artists and musicians. So we invite international artists and musicians to submit samples of their work, and then we pair them. So we might have an artist from India with a musician from Lithuania or somewhere, and we pair them together. They've never met each other quite often, and they create a video together. So it's just become a really nice vehicle for a different way to help people with their breath work, and also just meditation or relaxation, and also a nice way to help artists and musicians play their part in well-being, where they're often sort of forgotten about. But art and music obviously are very powerful ways to help people shift state and achieve states of relaxation, different states of consciousness as well. So yeah, that's the story behind it all, basically.
Yeah, you summarized it quite well. Very interesting, the synchronicities and how everything came together. I think also this is what I love is when you tell me that the idea that it's not separate anymore. Like, there's maybe the science of the breath working, then there's the music and art, and like we are holistic beings. We need all of it. And we have to, the heart brings together the different aspects of life, and it's integrated in the heart. And I exactly felt what you said at the beginning. Oh, it's also dry, and I came from a scientific background. Everything is so dry. And you don't want to do it because you feel like a stoic. So it's very, very interesting, the synchronicities.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, how these things appear? And actually, a lot of people are interested in things like breath work, and they're interested in meditation and mindfulness or relaxation techniques. But they're often not very easy to do, or they can often actually be kind of boring. That's why a lot of the time people unfortunately give up with mindfulness and meditation quite quickly, because it doesn't stimulate them in any way, or they find, unfortunately, that they can't really sense the difference. So we just felt there was another opportunity out there to use the art and the music to make it easier for people and make it enjoyable. And so, all you have to do is just basically focus in the heart and breathe in time with the beautiful art as it evolves and expands and contracts, and as the music and the rhythm paces your breathing, and it just makes it effortless and enjoyable, really. And then the beauty with the abstract art and psychometric psychedelic art as well is that it bypasses the conscious mind, so you find yourself very quickly just entering into different sort of state of consciousness as well. And so look, it's a tool, and different strokes for different folks. Not everybody's going to enjoy stuff like that, but there are some people that do, and do really find that art and music can help them achieve different states very quickly.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm sure people who maybe haven't seen it, and it's important that we bring your message out. Don't make yourself. It's important work. I want to emphasize this. And why do you think, for example, what is your opinion for the breath work? What you see is the advantage in like, it's not against meditation, but when you do meditation and breath work, what is the difference from your perspective?
Well, I think there's a few differences, really. So, I mean, we tend to use the word in terms of meditation and mindfulness quite generically, and people can be doing lots of different types of practices and actually achieving quite different types of states. That's true of breath work as well. There's different techniques to achieve different states and activate the physiology in different ways. What we're particularly interested in, and this is the same for HeartMath as well, is coherence. And so coherence is a specific state, physiological state and psychological state that you can achieve through a particular type of breath work, which is basically balanced breathing, in effect. Some people call it resonance breathing or resonant frequency breathing, 0.1 hertz breathing. We call it coherence. And it's really about balancing the breath, slow, sort of deeper paced breathing. And what you're doing there is you're actually activating both the sympathetic and the parasympathetic branches of the autonomic nervous system, which creates an optimal state. So one of the differences is that you're putting yourself in a state that benefits you physiologically. So it's basically facilitating homeostasis. It's like the heart starts to beat in this rhythm, which actually we can measure with the HeartMath stuff. You get those lovely oscillations that you can see in the heart's rhythm. And then the rest of the body and the brain follows that rhythm, entrains to that rhythm, if you like. And so the brain then tends to go into prefrontal cortex, and the brain waves tend to go into high alpha as well. So it's a state, an optimal state that can be achieved very quickly and effectively through that particular type of breathing. So that's sort of the physiological and psychological side of things. Additionally, as well, is the benefit of focusing into the heart. So that's where this becomes maybe sort of esoteric, is nurturing a connection with the heart, both the physical connection, so noticing your heart and your heart rate, and actually being able to feel the heart physically, but also more sort of metaphorically or esoterically connecting to the heart of who you really are. And so that's an important part of this as well, especially with the heart. My HeartMath work is really connecting with the heart of who you are, what's important to you, how you should live your life in the world, and how you can live your life with more heart and those heartfelt characteristics, love, care, appreciation, understanding, forgiveness, compassion, all of those types of heartfelt feelings that obviously we need a lot more of in the world right now as well. So that's one of the differences. I think, we're really specifically focusing on the breath to achieve a psychological and physiological state, but we're also focusing not just on the breath, but also the heart and what we can get the breath and the heart to do together to, really connect with the heart of who we really are.
Yeah. Yes, it's needed. And it's a wonderful, beautiful, I feel like, you're carried there. So like, push myself so much. So it's like, there's an app and it carries you there. We will link it afterwards for all the people who
we'll provide some free videos for people to have a look at.
There are really few videos and great. I also have the app, and it's really helpful because we live in a challenging time, I would say, and it's really great to have those tools that just facilitate and help us to build that new world easily.
Disconnect from this maybe sometimes as well.
Yes. Bring you back
connect more with this.
Yes, to move it there and where you are and finding the peace there, and then let yourself move from that state. Which brings me to another question. Like, how is the world you would envision, like a heart-centered world where we all be in that state? So it sometimes helps. I would like to have a vision. How would you imagine that world? How would that be?
Yeah, well, you know what? On the level, that's a very difficult question to answer, because I think that really what we're really talking about there is is kind of a paradigm shift and a dimensional shift. So in essence, in the simplest form, I think it's just a world that's fairer for everybody, that's healthier, that's happier. Where we're more compassionate towards each other, especially those people in the world who, for whatever reasons are struggling, whether that's because of, their economy or, their wealth or positional political situation, sociological situations, but that we have, ultimately a lot more care and compassion for each other. And that we then begin to build a world that's fairer, based less upon exploitation of each other, what we can get from each other, and more how we could collaborate to ensure that the greatest number of people can live a happier, healthier, more thriving life, and get rid of some of the unnecessary suffering that we have in the world. We'll never get rid of all of it, we know that, but I think if humans have proven something over the last goodness knows how many millions of years, it's that when we come together and we collaborate and we treat each other with care and compassion, we can achieve amazing things, which is probably why there's about 8 billion of us on the planet. It's not our ability to destroy each other and to defeat each other and exploit our environment that's got us this far. And if we continue along that path, it's going to cause us problems. So I think ultimately that's what it's more about, is the more that we can connect with our own hearts, the hearts of each other, then we have an opportunity to create that type of world. And it seems to me that we're kind of balanced right on an edge at the moment, a tipping point. I'm optimistic that we will tip the right way, but I think we're seeing some very clear signs of what we need to do differently and very quickly. My belief is that we can do that by connecting more with the hearts, and recognizing that if we only live from the head, we can come up with lots of clever ways to justify our behaviors, but they're not necessarily to the benefit of the greater number of people.
Yeah, beautiful words, actually. I think we take this vision with us in our hearts. For the ones who want to try and watch the videos, we will link them later. Use the app. And maybe a last word. You work for the HeartMath UK also. You're the director of HeartMath UK Ireland. But it's kind of the same.
It's all the same. It's all the same thing. What I'm interested in is how we can get these tools to people in practical ways that are easy to access. So one of the hats I wear is HeartMath. I'm lucky enough to represent HeartMath here in the UK and Ireland. HeartMath's based over in the US. And that's a way that, you know, can suit a number of people who are interested in using, you know, technology to measure their state and to practice getting themselves into coherence. So that's one tool. And then yeah, Syntropy, which is a separate business. Syntropy app is another way. Using, you know, specifically the art and the music, but ultimately they're about the same thing, which is helping people to self-regulate, first of all, to, you know, manage these very stressful, chaotic times that we live in, and keep yourself in a good place, sort of navigate that and modulate all of that. Keep yourself healthy, you know, as happy as you can be, and able to, yeah, kind of make decisions that are appropriate at this time. You know, that's really what it's all about. And there's different approaches for that and different tools that will work for different people. So that's what the Syntropy hat's all about. So, but you're right, it's kind of all the same thing, basically. Kind of help people do that, help people connect with their heart by any means necessary.
Yeah. Yes. So thank you very much for all the beautiful work you do to create that heart-centered world. We wanted to keep that format a bit short. And yes, we will provide all the links for the people who want to have a look at the app.
Yep.
And make your experience with it. It's difficult to explain. Now you have the background of one of the co-founders, and enjoy. Like, we really hope it's helpful for you to go through those times, and let's move to this all together and create more peace, love, and justice on Earth together.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.